to start with composing inverse functions. So we just talked about what an inverse function is, and now we're going to do composing. So let's listen before we're writing. F, the function, and the inverse of the function are inverse functions if and only if. Stop. What is this? I am hoping that all of you have just had your geometry mind kind of jiggled around a little bit, because this came out of geometry. Okay, this is where we started that logical thinking. And not only that, this is called a biconditional. Do you remember our biconditionals? I know you love them. Okay, so you wondered when we were going to see them again? Algebra 2. All right, so we know that it is if and only if we take the inverse, put f inside of it, it will equal x. And if we take the inverse evaluated at x and put it into the function, then these are inverses for x in the domain of f and the inverse, respectively. I kind of tend to leave this portion out because I kind of gets a little wordy for me. But what we're trying to say is when we compose them, they're both equaling x. Okay? So we're going to start with f of x is 1/2 x minus 3, and g of x equals 2x plus 6. And what we want to know is, are these inverses of each other? So we are going to start with just what it says up here. F of g of x, all right? And this is going to be the same as saying f of g of x. Okay, so remember we talked about those being the same thing. So we're going to take our function, f, and we're going to take the 2x plus 6, which is g of x. So there's no number to put in, so we're just going to grab him and put it in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take g and we're going to put it into f. So we have 1/2 2x plus 6 minus 3. 1/2 times 2x is x. 1/2 of 6 is 3. Subtract 3. Remember, our 1/2 does not go through because the negative 3 is not attached, so we only do what's in parentheses. These cross out and leaves x. That's a good sign. Okay, we now know that f of g of x is just equal to x, so we're in a better place. Now we need to test it with this one as well. So I'm going to write g of f of x, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, g of f of x. Okay, starting at the inside, f of x is 1/2 x minus 3, meaning f of x goes in for g, equals 2 times 1/2 x minus 3 plus 6. 2 times 1/2 is x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Add a 6. Remember, 2 does not go all the way through the entire thing because there's not a parentheses grabbing our 6. The 6's cross out, and we're left with x. These are the same value. That means we have found that these are truthfully inverses of each other, and we check that by doing the composition of them. So this is our beginning, and then we'll do some more applications with them. Good luck in composing inverse functions.